Welcome to another episode of Mom, Multidimensional Art, Medicine, Women, and the Talking Stick. It's a pleasure to have you here. Today's guest is Jillian Wisborg. She's a herbalist, a registered nutritionist, and a woman's health guide who has been steeped in the holistic health since 2009, a long time ago. She studied herbal medicine and nutrition science and has been helping 15 years women reclaim their energy, their hormonal balance, their confidence, and their overall well-being with intention and with lots of heart. So she is the creator of Booby Grow, which is a blend of herbs that grows boobies. I'm going to let yourself present a little bit more. When I came across your page, I was so happy because my boobie history has been very different. I had small boobies, I had very big boobies, I had medium-sized boobies, and I always joked that my boobies adapt to the season that I'm in and also how well I treat myself. So to come across your page and see somebody actually talk about it, I've never heard anyone talk about it and that it is possible to change your breast size. I was like, okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe you just want to tell us a little bit, how did you come to this and why are you doing this?
Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I love connecting with you across the globe. I think you're in Spain, you said?
Yes.
And I am reporting from Canada right now, from Toronto. I first got into trying to understand how can I grow my breasts when I went through massive weight loss. And it's way more common than most people realize, but I went from like a C cup down to completely flat and had no chest whatsoever. I was excited because I'd lost the weight that I was looking to lose, and it's like all of a sudden, okay, like, my jaw is sculpted. I have flat abs for the first time in my life, but I was sad because I was not anticipating losing all of my breasts and having zero need for a bra, right? Like it was just completely, there's nothing. There was just nipples, right? And I had a really interesting opportunity, which was one, a lot of my work is always based in self-love. Like, how do I love what is right now? How can I come to acceptance? And simultaneously, what emerged was like a deep curiosity. I was thinking, is it possible? Can I grow my breasts? And the thing to understand about me is Booby Grow wasn't my first invention, and it wasn't my first kick at alternative health. I have been and had been working at that time for already 7 years in the holistic health field and working with people with really complex issues that were finding their way in an alternative fashion. So I was just in this mentality of, okay, if we know that we can impact estrogen with herbs, if we know that we can impact luteinizing hormone and progesterone, what is it that it actually takes to be able to grow the breasts? And that set off a whole world of research. So what I ended up doing was trying a lot of different herbal combinations on myself and several women around me over the course of 3 years. And I was able to get up. I'm sitting at a D cup now, and I'm the same weight that I was when I lost the weight. D cup. Yeah. Yeah. D cup. And I had all these girls around me back in 2017 to even now that they still use the product. It was taking some trial and error. So for example, there's a lot of literature that already kind of peeps the knowledge. So just to give you an example, fennel is an ingredient that's been out, we've known for medieval times, and Middle Eastern cultures have used it, and it directly impacts the breast glands, the breast ducts, and it has a benefit for, supporting size, right? So that's one of the ingredients. I incorporate plant flavonoids. So what you'll find is if you were to, let's say, use the internet and you're looking into, oh, does fennel increase breast size? it's going to say no. What you actually have to look for when it comes to the research side of things, you have to look at the plant flavonoids, the specific plant actives that are inherent in the herb. So, to give you an example, you know how turmeric is really popular here in Canada, right? But it's a lot of the research that's on the curcumin, which is the plant active ingredient that will make the world of difference. So, there are several different plant actives in this herbal blend that I've created. Okay. Prenylnaringenin, xanthocumol, for example. These are the ones where if you go into the research, ooh, now you're getting increases collagen, supports glandular health of the breasts, supports breast health overall, reduction in risk of mammary gland cancers. Like there is a whole world of knowledge, and it's when you go a deeper level beyond just the surface name of the herbs. So when I was doing these experiments, I ended up finding there's like 20 plus different herbs that can help with breast growth. But my big concern was how do I make something that's going to have the most net benefits and the least side effects? What's going to actually help with general women's hormones and health overall versus cause problems? And we know that there's endangered species of plants. We know that there's some herbs that are very hard to acquire or some that are very expensive. So I was working within the parameters of making sure that I'm choosing herbs that are sustainable to the environments, herbs that are generally supportive, that have like minimal to no contraindications, right? So that's how I came up with the product initially. And I'll just show for those that are on the video, you can have a look at the product. I had to take things a step deeper though, because what I found was that there were a few women who they were not getting the results. They were not getting the growth at the level that I was. Like I was a cup and a half growth, right? Within the first year of my experimentation, I'm like, whoa, this is really, really cool. But I had a couple girls where they were stunted, and so I did a nutrition intake, which involves taking in what are they eating, what's their caloric intake, fat, protein, carb breakdown. And what I started to discover was a theme. And so this one girl, Christy, she had gotten no growth, but she was way under eating. She wasn't eating properly, wasn't eating the proper amount of fats, wasn't eating any protein, basically, was a carbaholic, just ate, essentially carbs, breads, crackers, and then drinking wine. So I started to set her up. I said, listen, if you want the glandular health of the breast to be healthy, you need to have certain types of fats. And so I gave her instructions. Boom. Now she gets the growth that she was looking for, right? Now she got a cup size larger in 4 months. I'm like, perfect. So throughout the last several years, I just keep refining and adding more. And it's a program, so it's not just supplements and herbs. It's a program designed to get women in touch with their breasts. And it's evolved to the place of how do you touch yourself? How do you connect with your breasts? What is your relationship to giving and receiving? Because the breasts on a grander scale, they're really like they're representative of Mother Earth. Like the breasts are there to nourish a newborn, they're also there for our pleasure. So breasts are very unique and interesting in that way, where they serve both support, but then pleasure is so much deeper. And I like to talk about that as well, of like to be in appreciation and to have pleasure for ourselves as women is so valuable. And there's a lot of women that they're disconnected from that part of themselves. They don't know how to give to themselves. And the breasts, as much as they're about giving, they are about receiving as well. They're covering the heart area, you know? Yeah. And pleasure is so deeply connected to our willingness to feel worthy of receiving love, receiving appreciation, receiving support. This has less to do with breast growth per se, but it has a lot to do with breast health. If you look at long-term studies on breast health and its correlation to self-love, confidence, the ability to show up in the world, there was a national study done in over 28 different countries, and it found the women who were touching their breasts the most often were the least likely to end up with breast cancer. And the women who were touching their breasts and enjoying their size, enjoying the look and feel, that they had higher correlations with general confidence and feeling good about themselves and pursuing things in the world that excite them. Because on a subconscious level, breasts and femininity are so connected. So whether you have smaller breasts, larger breasts, appreciating them regardless and having a positive relationship with the breasts is so important.
Thank you so, so much for everything that you just shared. I am so with you. I personally have had a huge awakening to my own breasts when I became a mom and I started breastfeeding. It was actually the first time in my life where I kind of acknowledged them more, because it was a bigger journey for me to be able to let her on the breast. But when it happened, every time that she was breastfeeding, I felt a connection to my breast that I have never felt before. And actually, I started noticing what my breasts are really doing. I'm really aware of what's going on my body and also on in other bodies. And I noticed that while my daughter was breastfeeding, my breasts were producing nutrients and also hormones and all sorts of things that my baby needed in order to be fully healthy. So I could see that breasts are like multidimensional antennas that are able to produce any antidote, any medication in case the baby is ill, and so much more. Then also on an energetic level, it was kind of like an energetic exchange between me and my baby. It was incredible the first time that I experienced this. So I can totally agree that breasts are so much more than what we give them credit for. I have been after that painting breasts a lot. So, I'm a painter, and I feel that the technology of the breasts, when it is in harmony and you are connected to them and you nourish them, it's like the base for you to really open up to the nourishment of the feminine and to really embody the feminine. And in the time that we are at right now, where so many women have gotten breast implants, and many of them are starting to have a lot of problems with them, like really deep health issues. I know 3 women who have taken out now their breast implants due to so deep health issues that they have gotten through them, that many are not aware of, that maybe that they're being tired of various health issues are linked to the breast implants, but now more and more are getting informed about it. I think it's so beautiful what you do to bring women into connection with themselves, with receiving, with their hormonal balance, which is such an important topic. Hormones in general are, for me, the ones that rule everything. Life. Hormones rule life. And
Yeah.
without them, when your hormones are not in balance, your life is not in balance. And I can speak for myself. I have had years of migraines before and after my period, very strong migraines that I could not even talk. Or plants are also spirits, like they hold consciousness, and every plant spirit has gifts, so to say, to give you. So when you mix the correct plant spirits together, the correct team, they can start to work in you, not only on your physical level, but also on all of your other bodies, to bring you back to balance and back to order. So you won't find, as you said, those things if you Google it, because obviously the patriarchal system and Google and all the big pharma doesn't want us to know that these things exist and that these things work. And also the beauty industry, which is one of the biggest industries right now.
Yeah.
If this information would become mainstream in public, how
Yeah.
much money would they lose? Maybe you can speak a little bit more about the program that you offer with it. Do you do it in one-on-one, or can people buy a package? How did you packet it?
What I discovered through the experimentation phases is that most women between 18 to 55 years of age that it would take about 4 months to get the growth in a more dramatic way. And so I was able to measure it largely through photos. So if on our website, we have a database. I have over 100 testimonials. Like there's women in Australia, Italy, Portugal, USA, Mexico, Colombia, all over that are taking this, right? And the program itself comes with 4 months worth of herbs. It comes with the ebook guide that goes through the massage techniques and the food guidelines, as well as receiving nipple covers. So the package itself comes really neatly in a box, and women receive that kit, and that's like their inundation, their entry point. We do have women who've gone and stayed on the program and stayed on what we call the growth dose, because there's a growth phase involved. And I have women that have stayed on it for 9 months, a year, 13 months, and report back to me 2.5 cup sizes, 3 cup sizes of growth, which is more dramatic, right? Than what people could even conceive of. But it's like with time and making sure that the glandular and the hormonal part of the breasts are satisfied for growth, this program primes those systems. And what happens is once a woman is like, okay, like, you know what, I love my breasts, I'm feeling really good with it, you can take a break from the herbs. I'll take sometimes 3 months break, and then I'll cycle on just a lowered amount, just a little bit of herbs like a few times a week to maintain the size, right? Because in order to stimulate or hold the max growth, it's like, well, you've either got to be on top of the food or the massage or the herbs or combination. And so every woman's a little bit different. We actually have women too. We have one woman recently, Lori from California, 61 years of age. Did the program, worked. She got over half cup size in the 4 months. And so what I've been doing since the beginning of this whole program is I say for women 18 to 55, we guarantee our results. It's $100 money back guarantee with the 4 month program. For women 56 to 65, we have $100 money back if they do 6 months, right? That they will get some kind of change. I'm the kind of person that I really hate buyer's remorse. So from day one, I've always had to have that, because otherwise people are just scared, right? And I understand that this industry of holistic health is definitely emerging, and if anything, it's just as ancient as modern medicine is, because you have documentation of these herbs going back thousands of years, right? And in different ways, sometimes the languaging will look a little bit different, and it'll say like, oh, like increases suppleness or firmness or lifts the breasts or mammary glands. It's in different languaging, right?
And how much do you think that also where your attention goes, energy flows kind of thing plays into it
Yeah,
as well? Because of course, if you focus
yeah,
on that and you believe in it and it's working, then you have
yeah,
said something very beautiful before, that the breasts reflect as well how you feel about yourself. So how much do you think is like the plants and then the other part? Is it necessary
totally.
as well to have the right mindset, or would it only work with the plants if you don't believe in it at all?
I mean, we have skeptics all the time that take the program and they say, I didn't think it was going to work for me, but this changed my life. I have a lot of moms have really wow experiences. I have women 45 years of age who were just suckled up by their little ones, right, when they were breastfeeding. And then it's like it pumps it up, it lifts, it does a lot. And so you don't have to be a believer in plant medicine. They're going to do their thing regardless. And it has a way of really helping women to connect with their femininity and connect to better moods, better cycles. So then they're in a better place emotionally and mentally to take on life. Something that I will say about, where energy goes, where attention goes, energy flows. So, in a very real way, okay, let's put it this way: when you stimulate the nipples, the pituitary gland, which is a part of the brain, gets activated. It increases the hormones and floods the breasts with certain types of hormones that will cause swelling, right? So it's like, oh, the breasts are engorged now because you were touching them. With the herbs, it's quite literally activating the breasts. So what happens is the science behind it, when you kind of take a broader step back and you say, okay, like what is going on? Like, why is this working? There are already receptors in the breasts for luteinizing hormone, for estrogen. However, the body is not always paying extra attention to the breast. Like you might be just like 20% activated in the breasts. Your hormonal chemistry is not going there. You don't actually have the supply of your own estradiol, estriol, estrione to be able to go there. The herbs are helping to teach the body to produce more of those and specifically stimulating the estrogen receptors to help to cause growth. There's also the component of LH hormone or luteinizing hormone. So when women are on this program, they feel like they're a teenager. Like they will often feel the breasts are like, oh, they're a bit sore or they're a bit swollen, or like I'm feeling something's going on, and it's specific to the breast because that's where there's a concentration of these receptors, right? So the program is working on a few different principles. It's working on the estrogen principle, the luteinizing principle, and having the right types of fat principle, because breast size is dependent on the glandular aspect and the hormonal aspect. And those two are fed differently. And this program covers those. I won't go so into that because it gets really, really sciencey, but on my website, I do have like more in depth when people want to go in there. And I've got some links from PubMed research and the plant flavonoids that I'm using and where it's directly connected to specifically mammary gland density. That's what the studies will say. They'll say mammary gland size, density, weight increases. Women get really scared. This is often a conversation that I like to have where you have to teach women like not all estrogen is created equal. The estrogens that are causing problems right now for women, and they're the ones that you're slathering on petroleum-based lotions, it's the perfumes you're using, it's the fragrances in the detergents, and it's the plastics that you are drinking liquids from.
Yes.
Those have a form of estrogen called xenoestrogens, which is like XENO estrogens. Xenoestrogens are the most harmful cause of true estrogen dominance. And those types of estrogens will often replace our own forms, or they will have like an interference, if you will. There's a lot more long-term research now to suggest that the problems that we have with estrogen, it's often the xenoestrogens, it's the man-made estrogens, it's the excess of birth control that is causing so many problems. Whereas when you're working with plant-based estrogens, these are a specific category called phytoestrogens. These don't have nearly as strong of an effect on the body, but they are very valuable. And we know that historically, phytoestrogens, which is like the fennel, blessed thistle, these have been used for thousands of years. There's so many benefits. A lot of women will use them for period health and for menopausal health and postmenopausal health. So that's just like a bit of a summary if you want to dive deeper into the conversation of estrogen and understanding that relationship.
That is so interesting. I've driven deep into this topic because I wanted to know what's going on with this migraines and why they suddenly started to go away when I started to change, not using shampoo, like all ecologic, not washing my clothes anymore with like this normal detergents and all of that. I started to make some changes and everything started to go better. And then I also started to learn about plants and how they influence hormones. Right now, I came across a plant that is very prominent here. It's called Vitex. It's one of the
Oh
most,
yeah,
yeah,
love
the
love
most
Vitex.
important plants for hormonal balance. But, and
Mm-hmm.
I tried to take it, but I have noticed that it kills your milk flow. So
Yeah.
I stopped taking it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I noticed in the time that I was taking it is that my breasts were getting bigger. So that was really
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I don't know if you have ever heard about that plant in that terms too, but for
Yeah.
me, it was like they were starting to get bigger. So my boobs really change a lot. I feel depending as well on what I eat and my mood. So I'm living proof
Mm-hmm.
that you can go from barely having anything. I also went really, really flat for a while after giving birth, breastfeeding, and having a lot of stress. And
Yeah.
then going back to a C or even a D cup, depending on what plants I'm taking, because I do a lot of different plants, dietas, and work a lot with it. And
Beautiful.
also my internal state of being. So I feel that your work is so much more important than what meets the eye at first, because
Yeah.
hormonal balance and having this in order, having a natural cycle, not using all of these estrogens that are dangerous and not good for us, and going into a regular taking care of yourself and of your breast, which is a form of self love, right? So, connecting with your
Yeah.
body, touching your breast is a form of connecting with your body. And I notice it when my daughter touches the breast while she breastfeeds, what happens in my body. So, it, as you said, it activates certain parts in your brain that.
Me too.
And do you have, apart from the Booby Grow, any other product that you say this is like an amazing thing? For example, I've seen the ADHD one. Do you have any other
Yeah.
things maybe for to enhance the libido or the yeah, sexy time? Because
The
for me, for
sexy
example,
time.
I noticed that since I'm a mom, I barely have the desire anymore. So I have a lot of self-love, but what you mentioned before, the pleasure or the desire part, also because I don't have a partner since then, a long time, like almost 4 years, but the pleasure part, being in like in this mom era, is kind of
Yeah.
lost. And I feel that now I'm like wanting to get back to it. Do you have any tips on that?
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely love the conversation of aphrodisiacs, which is the whole class of herbs to be able to support libido, sex drive, feeling wet, feeling juiced up, right? There's so many different options. I have an aphrodisiac textbook that lists about 2,500 different plants for increasing sex drive, right? To touch on this is a very interesting topic, and I've done a lot of exploration in it and worked with a lot of women and men and trans clients as well on this topic. So, what's really interesting is let's just look at the landscape of sex, right? Let's look at meeting someone for the first time and the nerves that might come alive when you're in the presence of someone and you're thinking, oh, okay, like, are we gonna jive very well? Do they find me attractive? Like, do they like my smell? Right. So there's all of these things kind of going on neurologically and emotionally for women and men, right? Sometimes the best aphrodisiacs are really what's called antispasmodic and nervine tonic herbs, which are the herbs that are helping to relax the nerves, the herbs that are putting you less on edge. I don't need to hyper control the situation. I need to just zen out. This is considered to be a really powerful herb for people that can't turn the mind off. It's not a sedative, it's not like a strong sedative, but it is like a really good herb for relaxing and feeling more open to the flow of life. I absolutely love passion flower as an herb for a woman when you have more of the nerves, and for men it works amazingly as well. And having that as a tea or having that as a liquid tincture is amazing, kind of pre-lifting. If we're talking more about needing desire and like the fire to have sex, right? Like actually feeling like, ooh, like everything in me is juiced up, like I want to go. That's a whole other different conversation and different types of herbs that you're looking for. In Chinese medicine, a lot of the times it's the yang herbs that are especially enduring for the endurance and the energy required to make love. So that's where you're looking at herbs like, maca is very, very popular, Peruvian maca. There's the purple kind, the red kind, the black kind. Purple one is really great for women, I find typically, and that is something that it gives endurance. I also noticed for myself personally, there's an herb called schizandra berries.
Oh
Schizandra
yay.
is amazing for wetness. It's really good for
I love
getting
Sandra.
up,
Mm.
and it's very healthy for urinary health in general. So if you're prone to urinary tract infections or you're prone to maybe not having like the best pH down there, eating schizandra berries or taking schizandra in powder or capsule or tincture form is amazing. And I find her to be one where if you take it over time, you will notice your sex drive will get stronger,
Mhm.
right? And then I'll name one other one because it's just a fun one and there's so many ways to take it. Is Damiana is great. I find
Yes,
all
I'm a
this.
Damiana
Yeah.
fan. I love Damiana.
Yeah, I love Damiana and I think like just depending on like your temperament, so kind of like what I said, if you're like, you know what, maybe something that stops me from wanting to connect is like maybe it's my nerves and maybe it's also the drive. So you can combine them. You can say, okay, passion flower and Damiana, I'm going to have a big cup of tea of this. Or, you know what, actually, maybe it is like my perception of the ways that I smell. Let me eat some pineapple and some melons and do a little bit of a fruitarian cleanse diet. That can even be helpful too for a couple days. And then that's going to give me the confidence to feel like, yeah, I smell good. I'm feeling good. I'm more open to having some love making, you know?
Amazing. Oh my God, I feel that we could talk about this like forever. It's so interesting. And I am so grateful because I know that so many people will appreciate this and implement it. I have tried all of them, but a passion fruit, I was not so much aware of it for that. Is it the flowers or is it the leaves that you use from passion fruit?
Yeah, so it's actually it's not passion fruit, it's a passion flower.
Oh, passion
So
flower.
it's
Okay.
passion flower, yeah, and this is what I was sharing earlier is it's considered more of a nervine tonic versus an aphrodisiac. Usually, if you're looking at herbal text and you're trying to find an aphrodisiac, you're looking for it to say that or for it to say increases yang in the body, which is like heat, fire, energy, often
Mm,
sexual energy. And yeah, I mean, that's just like I said, there's like 2,500 different options. So I
mhm,
feel like I personally choose aphrodisiacs for myself and others based on the temperament, based on what's going on.
mm,
Like another great example is chocolate. Like chocolate increases oxytocin, which is the cuddle hormone. Some people need an intellectual conversation to get excited.
yeah, me.
So do we want to have some chatty herbs? Like maybe we want to, drink some Brahmi tea. Brahmi is an amazing herb for having great conversations. But if
Amazing.
you're more like, I want to feel close and cuddly, chocolate, cacao, real raw
Mm,
cacao nibs,
yes.
crunching on those.
Actually, passion flower, I painted it like around a year ago. I made a big painting where you could see a woman and a man, and the woman
Ooh.
being like with her tongue out like this. So it was like this Kali energy, like luring the man in, and they were standing in front of a golden door. I'm gonna put it in so that you can see which one I mean. The energy was coming from the golden door, was like this golden energy, and there was a huge passion flower linked to like an emerging new kind of human, like a rainbow human. And while I was painting the passion flower, the message was very clear that she is the one that is opening up us now to the Christ consciousness in us, to the feminine, to the true feminine principle, and
Yeah.
to the passion in us. So, what is truly our passion? What is truly our mission? And what are we here to do? So, sometimes when we just follow our passion and what really ignites us, like what you do with you, I feel that it reached me because I feel that you are so passionate about it. Like you have put so much work and time into researching and having the proof, and also giving the guarantee that there's just so much purity and passion behind it. And the reason behind, I can feel the bigger purpose behind what you're doing is so much bigger maybe even than you might know. So it's important that women
Mm,
who are so much full of wisdom get their voice heard. And I feel that maybe it's the passion flower that has brought us together, because there is really some plant spirits now that are leading the way in this evolution of humanity and in this change from old systems, the patriarchal systems which objectified women and made
yeah.
us feel less and made us feel we need to be a certain way to be worthy or to be sexy or to be beautiful. Femininity into a healthy picture, which doesn't take away being spiritual, doesn't take away that you would want to feel beautiful and that you would want to feel sexy. And I feel that many of us are finding this balance now to say, I want to feel comfortable, I want to feel sexy, I want to feel beautiful. And that doesn't take away that I'm truly fully connected and embodied with my divinity, with my purpose, with my mission, and with my purity. Or many people say when you take care of your physical, then you're not spiritual, that this paradigm is like completely breaking off because there is no difference between the spiritual and the material. Like that's what we're here for. We're the bridge between both worlds and we're bringing them into one now. Beauty is the most amazing thing on the world. Beauty, like a beautiful flower, a beautiful woman who is in her feminine, who has beautiful breasts, a beautiful body, and feels confident in her body, is hypnotic, is so powerful. Those women, Venus, Aphrodite, have stopped wars because of their beauty, because of their breasts. And I feel that we are now going, as humanity, back to this being nourished by this beauty and this pure unconditional love from the cosmic mother. And this is why I wanted to give the breasts this special episode, and I'm super super grateful that you are the breast spokesperson, one of the spokespersons for the boobies. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for sharing everything that you know. Is there anything that you would like to share before we stop? You are welcome to share whatever is on your heart.
I love what you're having to share just about that we're in an era where I think this concept of woman being able to carry both her beauty and her passion and her wisdom and her intellect and be held up is an era that we all need very much so, because that's like the deep healing of the feminine and of mankind. And I think that as people begin to choose to stop being intimidated by the light of someone being able to carry all of those different dimensions, that there's going to be real growth, right? And that's kind of the paradox as well, I think, that life would have is we can sometimes take in messages a lot easier when it's packaged in a certain way, when it's not smart and beautiful. That's too much. You know, that's what society will often say. And so it's like we have to break those norms for ourselves so that we're comfortable being all of who we are. And that's so important. And so yeah, and I just always share too with women, it's like it's never about bigger is better. It's about choice, and it's about feeling like you're honoring your vessel. And I just really am also on the same mentality as you of, you know, we know that this is a really important conversation. We know that surgery is like not necessarily the way, and that it has a lot of repercussions. And we didn't even get into chatting necessarily yet about like the health of the lymphatic system, and a healthy lymphatic system, healthy skin that's doesn't have injected toxins and chemicals, or is trying to hold the weight of implants and trying to adapt to what that does to the body. These are important things. And the more that women honor the naturalness of their body as well and fine tune and take care of it, the more vibrant and the more vital and beautiful they're going to feel in the long run. Because I think the thing is, like, we get kind of breadcrumbed at a young age into going to this extreme of like, well, inject it or cut it out or do these things. It's like, that is so far down the stream. We need to have beautiful women of all ages showing up. And beauty is not a number, it is an energy, right? And that energy comes from self acceptance at the core. So if we are always like suppressing and cutting things up and doing this and that, you're not necessarily getting closer to the place that you actually really want to be. On a deeper level, it's not the breasts that you want, it's not the soft skin that you want, it's the feeling of like enoughness, of like finally, like I'm here, like I'm not feeling self-conscious when I'm going out, I'm not feeling self-conscious when I'm by myself or in front of someone new. That's the place that women are actually looking to arrive to. And I'm grateful because I know I've made it to that place in my own well-being. And it's so much of that work of like holistically healing myself And I'm passionate about helping women with healing their hormones. There's a lot of resources that I have around that. There's a lot of work that I have around that. I definitely want to come back and chat with you more another time about some of
For
the other things
sure.
I
There's
do.
so much. I mean, you just said so many things that I would just like would love to go in. And I feel that we should do that on another episode. Specifically what you just said of the worthiness part, right? And how important it is to what is behind wanting to have bigger boobs, what is behind wanting to have a Botox, more bigger lips. It's feeling comfortable, feeling worthy, feeling free, feeling embodied and full, so that you don't need any external validation and you can be yourself in freedom. And I feel that this is where we are all moving towards as the feminine collective. And thank you for being a spokesperson for us and for that beautiful movement. And I hope that we talk very, very soon. If you want to find all of those beautiful products, I'm going to link the email and the website underneath the episode. And stay tuned for the next part of Booby Grow with Jillian.
Thank you so much.
Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye. I'm grateful for you being in this circle with us and hope that you feel seen, activated, and inspired. And if this episode moved you, I would love for you to subscribe and also give me a little review so that other beautiful souls find this medicine. And if you want, you can follow me on Instagram at KiaronArt to receive more activations, insights, and also access and information about my programs and workshops, so that you can fully step into your magic, into the next level of creativity, and discover the medicine woman that you also already are, so that your voice and your magic can ripple out into the world. I love you and me. See you next time.